One time. Agut Voch Raboisai. Lidu Nishmasi Mimirasi Rosmas Mordechai. Shkoya. Come more often. Gotta move back to Israel. Shalom Rebelli. You'll have noticed that I only come to live share Motzi Shabbos with my son Yonatan. I don't see him here. Is he here? God? Not here. Sometimes he comes on Motzi Shabbos with the son. Fortunately, I'm not able to come during the week. You're probably thinking as to why I'm saying fortunately. Baruch Hashem, getting Yonatan and Aviatar ready for school, and somebody's taking Aviatar. This guy, I'm away, back. I put the shira on. The kids are, we have now had Aviatar for 9 months, and he's 14 months old, as his parents live in Kiryat Arba. Take him about twice a month. What a tremendous chus. Came to us with a few medical issues. The kids, I'm saying this email because of the chesed that this guy does, and he's living it. We also spend time going with him for checkups and specialists based at Adas and Karen. Baruch Hashem, he's doing well in our family, and we love and adore him so much, and he loves us. After all this, there are a few things that I've realized with my involvement with the Daf. First of all, I can drive and watch the Daf at the same time. The Daf and you accompany me on my journeys. Without a doubt, Aviatar has been our golden dove. So even though I only get to the live share once a week, or maybe that not even, my heart is affixed day in, day out to America's Daf Yomi and to you, and positively you give me an entire family, my family. This, I express my akar satoiv. Good Shabbos, God, Carlos. Proud family of Mendel Pilchik. Purim morning, no explanation necessary. This picture speaks for itself. Keep it up, Mendel. Here he is, steiging away on Purim. Dear Veli, my name is Lee Margulis. I recently joined MDY as a result of my previous Daf Yomi shir, the Daf Academy. Okay, this is my first go at Daf Yomi, and GD willing, not my last. I find MDY to be very user-friendly and entertaining. With Passover coming up soon, do you have any advice how not to fall behind with Daf Yomi? Wishing you and your family, no, it's not your father-in-law talking, chill. Many blessings, sincerely, Mr. Lee Margulis from Stony Brook, Long Island, New York, USA. Well, it is a big problem. A lot of people fall off the bandwagon over Yom Tov. And the only maybe small piece of advice that I could give, which I don't usually give, is that if you connect the daf to something that's a constant, let's say shachris, breakfast, that you do the daf immediately after davening, immediately after breakfast, so there's something tangible. You don't just push it off and say, okay, well, I'll get to it later, and I'll get to it. And then eventually the day goes by and then you don't have any strength anymore. Maybe that's an idea. But of course, if you fall behind, skip ahead and join us once Yantav is over.
Keep up now, catch up later.
Keep up now, catch up later. Rafal says, Dear Reb Eli, I know you're a super busy dude, so I'll keep this message short. My name is Rafal. I'm a college student who made my first ever siyum. First ever. Mesechtas Megillah from Yeshia right before Purim. I'm writing to express my true sakar zatayv to you and all those who bring such holy vibes to MDY and allow me to bring Torah into my life. I'm now joining the middle of Nazir. I'm very hyped to get up to Saita soon. My rabbi told me it's all about this lady that blows up and stuff. So I'll be sticking around. Thank you again, Rabbi Rafal. I have to say that Saita is one of the most amazing mesechtas, one of the most geschmacks mesechtas. Many, many different sugyas, a lot of agadata and like very important things about Yiddishkeit. It's not only about a woman blowing up, it's about a lot of geschmacka stuff. The Koilel is sponsored by Anon Ymous from Lakewood. The second sponsor by Koilel by supporting Torah certain now Bitachon. The Mesechta is sponsored by Maaser. The second sponsor is Mesechta, the Nishmas Chai Bas Yosef by Anon Ymous. The Parnas HaChodesh, the Nishmas Zechariah ben Moshe. Another Parnas HaChodesh, the Nishmas Mashe ben Yehuda by his community. He was a Holocaust survivor who overcame many challenges, inspired his family, friends, entire community during his nearly 100 years in this world. Third, Parnas HaChodesh by Anon Ymous from Flatbush for continued mazel, bracha, and clarity. Fourth, Parnas, Landy Family, Israel, Chיים, Yeshעי. I missed this on Friday. Refuah Sheleimah for Reuven Chaim ben Mashkit. Mem Shin Kuf Tov. Tes. Huh? Oh, it's Motzei Shabbos. Okay, you can talk as much as you want to do. Reuven Chaim ben Mashkit HaKohen. And the art for a complete refuah for Chaim Tzvi ben Leah. Welcome to all the guests. We have some mamish new. Shalom Aleichem. What's your name? Where are you from? Well, new, right? Whew. Close call there. You're not new. You're from Miami. What are you doing here?
Came to see you.
Yishkoyach.
I came walking around Yerushalayim with I got 20 new friends because of my sweatshirt.
Really?
Absolutely.
You tell them they dive in that special shul, the no talking shul?
Absolutely. Tell them that too, yeah.
Just tell me real quickly, what's up with that shul? Because it's not like super Haredi people over there. It's all sorts. It's even modern guys, and then nobody talks. Nobody even wants to talk. Why?
You get shot in the head if you do.
But why would someone like my son, who's...
Everyone's like that in there.
But he likes it. He likes the fact that...
They know what it's like if you do talk. They've seen what happens.
It's not about the fear. My son doesn't like diving there because of the fear. He likes it because...
It's shmaka diving. It's one... And the kiddush afterwards, did you see the kiddush?
Ooh. Fly in from pomegranate, right?
You know what a JFK shul is?
Yeah, just for kiddush.
It's a JFK shul.
No, it's not just for kiddush. No,
not just for that. But the kiddush is the icing on the cake. That's why.
It's icing on the cake. Got it. All right. Who else do we have here? Oh! I was watching Psachim and you're there and you come on Shushan Purim. I said over there 2 years ago that on Shushan Purim you come and I like when you come. So Shkoyach for coming today also. Shkoyach Yoni. Rabbi said we're holding Daf Amud Beis, brand new Mishnah, brand new Sugya. The Mishnah on the bottom, Mem Vav Amud Beis. So of course you have the guy who brings his korbanos. Here he goes. He brings his korbanos to Beis Hamikdash. And when he's done with his korbanos, he shaves. These are his korbanos. The oil chat shlamim. He shaves. Gilach al zevach v'nimtza apostle. So he shechs one animal, and he decides to shave. And then they find out that the animal's puzzle. How's a puzzle? Says Taisvus. Either all the blood spilled, or they took the blood out of the Beis Hamikdash, or the blood became tamei, or I'm just adding this. The guy had a machshava, the kahn thought a bad thought while he was doing a bad thought, meaning he thinks he's going to take the blood and pour it on the mizbeach after the zman, the lot of time. So we consider the carbon is puzzle. Now what do? We have a problem because the only time you shave your hair is after you bring the carbon, at least one. Now it turns out that he shaved his hair before he brought the carbon. Why? Because the carbon is puzzle. So this is similar to a listim Some guy shaves off your hair before the end of your Nazirus. So what do you do in such a situation? You have to go 30 days again. You need 30 days of hair. So it doesn't count for anything. And he must bring karbanos all over again. Now, the very first Mishnah, if you learn Zvachim, don't answer this question. The very first Mishnah in Zvachim, we keep on going back to this Mishnah over and over, is if a person brings a carbon and the Kayin has the wrong intent. He says, this is not a Oyla, this is a Chatas. This is not a Chatas, this is a Shlamim. This is not a Shlamim, this is a Taida. So there are two karbanas that you take the carbon and throw them into the garbage. What are those two karbanas? A Chatas says, what's your name again? Chaim Kimchi says Chatas again, before the adults. Does Chaim Kimchi know what the second one is? What's the second one? Who said? Yoni? Did you tell it to him? Maybe. MDY kids. MDY kids. Pesach Bismana. What does that mean, Bismana? He's right. That's the lashon of the Mishnah, actually. Another MDY kid. What's his? I know Zalman Tzvi. What's his name again? Shal David, the younger one. Zalman Tzvi, did you tell him the answer? Okay. When did you learn it? At school. Some kids actually listen in school. It's unbelievable. So there are two korbanos that only two. If the Kohen thinks to himself that this carbon Pesach, on Erev Pesach, is not a carbon Pesach, it's a carbon Chatas, take it and throw in the garbage. If any day of the year the Kohen thinks to himself, this carbon Chatas is not a Chatas, it's an Oila, it's a Shlamim, take it and throw it in the garbage. But any other carbon, a Shlamim, if the Kohen messes up, either on purpose or by mistake, he says, this is not a Shlamim, this is a Oila, this is not a Shlamim, it's a good carbon. It's just not good for the guy that brought it. The guy that brought it has to bring a new one. But you take it and you put it on the Mizbeach, everything is good. There's only two that are not good. So based on that, says the Mishnah, it's the same idea over and over. It's Chazara. The Mishnah does Chazara here. Gilach ala chatos, right? One of the three korbanos you have to bring is a chatos. So he thinks the chatos is good. He brought a chatos and he takes a good shave. But the chatos is shaloi lishma. The whole chatos, the kohen thought himself, it's not a chatos, it's a shlamim. Right? And the chatos is in a keva. It can't be a shlamim. But he messed up. He says it's a shlamim. And then the other two out of the three are good. One he messed up on. So the haircut is no good because the haircut was based on the first one. The first one never happened. You take it and you throw it away. The kitzer, nothing went good for this guy. Why? Because when he took his haircut, and it wasn't a good haircut, so now he has no right bringing two more karbanas. So you can't bring a shlamim and an oila. The shlamim and the oila you brought don't add up to anything. Okay, you put on the mizbeach, it's a good nadava. But he can't say in 30 days from now, when he regrows his hair for 30 days, oh, I already brought my oila and shlamim. You brought your oila and shlamim after you took a haircut in the wrong time. If Liston come and shave off your hair and you go bring two karbanas, zero. Nothing happened. So all the karbanas that he brought don't add up to anything. One of them goes into the garbage. But what about the other two? The oila, if the kohen messes up on the oila and says it's not an oila, it's a chatas, what do? You put it on the mizbeach. The same thing for the shlamim. So the kohen messed up on the shlamim or the oila, and then he took a haircut. So once again, same exact halacha, according to Tanakama. You take the shlamim and you put it on the mizbeach. Why do you put it on the mizbeach? Because it's a shlamim of an adava. but it has nothing to do with the Nazir. It didn't do anything for the Nazir. Why? Because the Kohen had the wrong thought. The Kohen thought to himself, this is a Ayla, not a Shlamim. But what do you do with it? You don't throw it in the garbage, you put it on the Mizbeach. Reb Shimon says something, it doesn't really say the words in the Mishnah, but you can see it, it's very obvious from the Gemara. But Reb Shimon says that since I take his Shlamim and I put it on the Mizbeach, and here's a Gevaldik Shayla, Rabbi Yisai. If Ruvain is a Nazir, and Reuven decides to bring a matana to Hashem. He brings a shlamim to Hashem, nothing to do with his nazirus. Could he take his own hair and cut off his hair and put it under the pot of that shlamim? It's an adava. It has nothing to do with his nazirus. Nuhila, what's the answer? Who said no? Reb Shimon Oimer, Oisay Azevach Le'alalai, Avashar Zvachim Alu, says Reb Shimon that, okay, the Kohen messed up on the Shlamim, and the Kohen said it's not a Shlamim, it's Ayla. But his haircut is a good haircut because he took a haircut on a dava. So since it's a good haircut, then the following korbanos that he brought, the next two that he brings, the oil and the chatas, they're good. They're oil and the chatas that came for a Nazir who took a good haircut. Why did he take a good haircut? Because he brought an adava. Why is it an adava? He didn't want it to be an adava. He wanted it to be his Nazir shlamim. But the Kohen messed up. The Kohen messed up on purpose. He hates this guy, wanted to ruin his korbanos, let's say. Or he didn't hate him. It was a mistake. Whatever the reason is. But he thought in his mind, this is not a shlamim, this is a taida. This is a oila, I don't know what. So you can take this shlamim, put it in the pot, cook it. Comes the Nazir, gets a haircut, takes his hair, puts it under the pot. What kind of shlamim is it? It's not a Nazir shlamim, it's an adava shlamim. But it's good enough, says Reb Shimon. And since it's good enough, the next two korbanos that he brought, the oil and the chatas, they're regular oil and chatas of a Nazir. So now he owes the Beis HaMikdash one carbon, the original shlamim. Now, another halacha, if he took one haircut after he brought all three karbanas, the oila, shlamim, and chatas, one out of three turns out to be okay, his haircut is a good haircut because he based it on one of the three karbanas. One of the three is good, and whatever one is good, and the rest he should replace. Says the Gemara, so now we explained it nicely. Now we know that according to Reb Shimon, why is his haircut a good haircut? Because the shlamim that he brought, even though the kohen messed up, is in a dava. Reb Shimon, Nazir shegilach al shalme nidava yatza. Tanakama doesn't hold like that, but Reb Shimon holds that if even though you use some random carbon of nidava that has nothing to do with the Nazir, and you put the hair under the pot, it's good. My taima, because he learns it from a pasuk Damakrov and also Aloisha Shetach Zevach Hashlamim, like Siv Shlamav. How come the Torah is not more specific to say to put it underneath your shlamim, your Nazir shlamim? Because it doesn't have to be the shlamim of a Nazir. It could be the shlamim of an adava. Daf Yomi Amud Aleph, brand new Mishnah, the unsponsored official Mishnah. Mishin is Rakolov Echod min Adamim v'nitma. Huh? Well, okay. Official sponsoring the Refuah Sheleimah ben Chana Bracha. Mishin is Rakolov Echod min Adamim v'nitma. They did Zrikas Adam. We know what Zrikas Adam is. We saw the picture many times in the last week or two. The Kohen, as one of the four avodas, you shech the animal, then you receive the blood in a vessel, you take the blood, you walk it, Hatzlacha, to the Mizbeach, and finally he takes the blood, throws it, tosses it in a certain way on the Mizbeach. That's Zrikas Adam, the final avodah of the four avodas. Mishin is Ragal of Echem and Adam, Benitma. So, there's a whole process of how a Nazir becomes tar? How he finishes off his Nazirus. He didn't finish everything yet, but he's in the middle. He's almost done. He's right there. He's at the finish, almost at the finish line. The throwing the blood on the mizbeach from one of the korbanos. Eliezer says we already learned. Eliezer holds that you have to do everything, including tnufa akol. They didn't do everything, and he became tamei. Somebody dies right there inside. I have to go back. I have to see what I said. Somebody told me I said it wrong when we're talking about Moshe Rabbeinu with Atzmas Yosef. Two people told me that I said it wrong. I said you could bring the Atzmos into the Machne Leviyah. I said more than that. What? Into the Azara. It's up until Machne Leviyah. Machne Leviyah goes up until Sharni Koner. Then from there on, Shar Shechina. So that person can go into the Zisnashim, not into the Azara. Mistake. What other mistake? Oh, Mishkael pointed out another mistake I made. In Yoshi's drawing, you see the guy doing knufa like this. But it's muchach that there's a kahn there also helping him out. So we got to change the drawing. Kahn assists him. Fine. The guy becomes Tomei. Be'ez Hashem, no more mistakes for next week or so because the Rosh Hashanah is going out of town. It doesn't mean that there won't be mistakes, just no chap on it. But Menachem Mateh is back in town, so yeah, where is he? He's here today, no? Hi! Been very quiet lately. Marrying off his son. Okay, safe trip. When are you leaving? Mamash after Shir, you going? Wow, okay. Rebbe Lezer is the opinion you have to do everything. If you don't do one of the things that you need to do, then you didn't finish off your Nazirus. So now, unfortunately, the guy becomes Tamei in the middle of the process. So he has to start all over. But the Gemara is going to explain it doesn't mean all over. We learned this a few times in the Masechta that when you become Tamei at the tail end, at Mamish at the finish line, when he's done with his Nazirus, he's just in the Beis HaMikdash getting things done. So then how much do you have to go back? 7 days. Because he's a Tamei. Not because he really has to go back. It's not like before we said he has to go back 30 days because he needs here for 30 days. Over here, he's Tamei. So a person who's Tamei can't finish what he needs to do. So anyways, he has to wait 7 days. Chacham say no. At the end of the day, he accomplished the goal. He finished his Nazirus by doing what he did. And Memela, all you need to do is finish off your Karbanas and you're good to go. V'yitar. Omer Loi, ha?
Did one goal.
Yeah, one carbon. So he has to finish off his Karbanas. Omer Loi, Maisa b'Miriam had Tarmoidus. Tarmoidus, it's an interesting place because the Zohar says that Shlomo HaMelech used to fly there every day. He used to get on a nesher and go there every day. We learned once in Yevamis that Tarmoid is all mamzerim over there. So there's a lady, Miriam at Tarmoidish, and Israel Galeo Echom Ben Adamim. Huh?
ISIS destroyed the whole Syria.
Oh yeah? I hear. Okay. In Iraq? Near Iraq? Syria. I hear. She obviously was a Nazira, and she's in the middle of the process. They told her, your daughter is dying. I just thought of a story. I don't know if I should say it here. It's Motzei Shabbos. I already said the story. It's... Weiter? Vadi said weiter. Okay. No, it's a weird story. Okay. I said the story with the hotel, Intercontinental Hotel in Chicago with the 2 floors. And I wanted to bring my wife there, and I finally brought her there. When did I say the story? How long ago did I say the story? What?
How many times have you said the story?
Just tell the story.
No, if I said it like a month ago, I can't say it.
That's okay. I've never heard it.
Okay, Bekitzer.
3 gates of people.
It's a mother story. Don't put on your shorts. After my chasam, my shver surprised my wife, my kala, and I with this intercontinental suite. It's a 2-story suite, a very expensive suite. And we went there. So on my first anniversary, I decided to be a big chacham. I'm going to bring my wife to this suite. So I called him up, and the guy tells me, yeah, no problem, it's $1,000 a night. $1,000? No way, I don't know. $1,000? Like, forget it. It's like a few years go by. So I said, okay, now, I already just left Kyla, I could afford it. Called him up. It's $2,000 a night. It's like, forget it. Okay, we'll have to. Anyways, 20 years go by. 20 years go by. I said, I don't care, no matter what the price is, I'm getting this suite. I got it. So I forget, because I was so excited about this idea, I forgot that we own hotels and we could get discounts. And all I need to do is call my brother-in-law, probably get it for me if I have free. Bekitzer, so I go down there, I tell the guy, how much is it? He says $5,000. I made up my mind, no problem, I have to do it. It's 20 years, $5,000. So I say, okay, but do me a favor. I want to do this whole thing. Motzei Shabbos, I want to come there and pretend that, yeah, give me the key. So he gives me a key. Motzei Shabbos, I tell my wife, it's an anniversary, maybe we should go downtown Chicago. So we go downtown Chicago, we start walking by this hotel. She goes, hey, you remember this hotel? I said, yeah. She said, let's go check it out. So we go check it out. I said, maybe we can find the room. So we go upstairs, and then we get to the room, and the room, beep, it opens up, and we go in. What's this? I told her the whole thing, fine. So in there, and there's a balcony. So I said, why don't you go on the balcony? I took a picture of her with her cowl dress in the balcony. I said, you take a picture right here. And then her phone starts ringing. What's this? It's her father. Okay, hello? He says, get down here right away. You have to go to the hospital immediately. Your son, Kiwi, he has appendicitis. Come right now. It's okay. Went back in the car. We were in their room for $5,000 for 3 minutes. Yeshai, I have the pictures if anybody wants to see the pictures. What? Which picture? Yeah. And then we have the pictures of us in the hospital with my son. And I forgot, of course, if anybody knows me, I did not go back to the hotel and say, hey, could we have a refund? Could we do it again? Nothing. It's like just $5,000 for 3 minutes. Okay. That was why I just remember now. They told her about her daughter. Very, very dangerous situation with her daughter. Daughter's dying. Now the rest of the story is not the same. Different ending. Of course I told the story. I never told it in Shir? I told you the story for sure, but I never said it in Shir. Never said it in Shir. Okay. I don't know if I can find you pictures without my wife in there. I'll show you that. I'll send you some pictures. What? You want another story, Avi? Please not.
You say no, Eddie says it.
Okay, once I said already the story, I might as well say another story that I didn't want to say. Okay, so what happened was she's in the middle of doing she's mamish in the middle of the process, but she gets the phone call that her daughter is not doing well. She drops everything, runs to see what's going on with the daughter, and unfortunately the daughter dies. So she became tamei to the daughter. So it's the story of the Mishnah. So they said, okay, it's not a problem. She doesn't have to start over. She doesn't just bring the rest of the korbanos, and that's it. So, because according to Chachamim, once you have zrika of one carbon, the Naziros is over and done with. So, in other words, the first carbon that she brought, in this case, she, is a good carbon. And that's it. So now you just have to figure out the rest of the karbanas. But the first carbon is a good carbon. So the Gemara just talks about the lashon. What do you mean seiser sakal? What do you mean that if you became tamei, you have to start all over again? Anything that happens after the Naziris is over, Shiva Soiser. You only break up, you only have to go back 7 days. And again, the explanation is not that you go back, but the pshat is that you're tamei, and if you're tamei, you have to wait 7 days anyways. Omarav, my soiser, I'm to call my Rebbe Eliezer, soiser korban noisov. Pshat is, you go and you break. What do you break? The korbanos, according to Rebbe Eliezer. But you only have to go back 7 days. So if a person was a Nazir for 25 years, that was his term, and he became tamei all the way at the end, you don't have to go back 25 years. You go back 7 days. So what do you break? You break the korbanos. You have to bring the korbanos in. And it makes a lot of sense. Chacham argue on one point. Chacham argue you don't have to bring all three. You just have to bring 2 out of the 3. In other words, the first one is good. Shema Mina, that Rebbe Eliezer argued, he said you have to bring all 3 korbanos. But they're not arguing on how many days. They're arguing on korbanos. Why is it not mirror to Moedes? What we do? Albita, shows Muskenes, Valcham, Shemesa, Varum Chachamim, Tavi Sharkam, and Sel, Betitar, Shema Mino. Hadran al Shloisha Minin, Hadran al Shloisha Minin, Hadran al Shloisha Minin was a long parak. It was like a 2-week parak. Kohen Gadol ve Nazir. Ein mitamim likreveim. If you have 2 people going together, a Kohen Gadol and a Nazir, they're not metama, they don't become tamei for the relatives of a metamim lemeis mitzvah. So, meis mitzvah, as we know, is a huge mitzvah. According to the Rambam, it happens to be a mitzvah deiraisa, it's an asay. Most Rishonim argue, they say it's not a mitzvah deiraisa, because if it was, then a lot of things don't make sense. Then it's an asay against a lois asay, then you don't have to say because it covered abrias and stuff like that. Okay. But it's a mitzvah. It's a big mitzvah, and it pushes off even a Kohen Gadol. You imagine the Gadol Adar, the Kohen Gadol, we need him there. He happens upon a body, he has to bury it. And a Nazir as well. There's a very interesting shayla here. A person finds out his wife has to give birth on Shabbos. And he's allowed to be Mechal Shabbos. His wife is giving birth on Shabbos, allowed to be Mechal Shabbos. So let's just say, chap some Chil Shabbos, turning on the light. Let's call that a Chil Shabbos, and he's allowed to turn on the light. Is he mechuyev? I want to hear what the Talmidei Chacham have to say here. If we had one of those devices from Kahoot, everybody could push a button. Let's say he knows for a fact that his neighbor has a flashlight that's on right now, but it's 3 o'clock in the morning. Does he have to knock on his neighbor's door and ask for the flashlight? Or he could just flip on the switch? Okay, I mean, you can ask the question a million different ways. I'm asking a very simple thing. Why does he need the light? I don't know why he needs light. He needs a light. He needs a phone. His neighbor could do it without a Chil Shabbos. He could do it with a Chil Shabbos. Does he go to the neighbor, yes or no?
No.
What? It won't change the Pikuach Nefesh at all. What? For sure he asked. Anybody else want to argue? For sure he doesn't have to. 100% not. 100% yes. Rosh Koil is wrong. Rosh Koil is right. What do you say? Gneva Sheine. Okay.
If he has in the next room, then he can go and get it. He should go get it. But if it's something
No, I'm asking knocking on the neighbor's door. If it's a Shabbos nidcha.
I know. When there's a milchal, when you have to Pikuach Nefesh, everything goes aside.
Pikuach Nefesh, everything goes aside, but I could avoid the Pikuach Nefesh by knocking on my neighbor's door and getting the Chil Shabbos from him. He has it already. Okay, so Reb Shlomo Zalman Auerbach brings a raya from this sugya. It's Yartzeit tomorrow night, and you were mechav the Reb Shlomo Zalman Auerbach. Some argue on him. Some argue. But brings a raya from here. Why? Listen to this. He says that a Kohen Gadol that's walking in the street and finds a body, he could bury the body, or he can make a phone call, and it'll cost him $1,000, and they'll bury it for him. Does he have to make that phone call? Does he have to spend $1,000 not to become tamei? Huh? Is a chiyuv to bury him right now, or a chiyuv to call up? I hear. He's allowed to be mitama, but he has a way out of it. So if Kimchi says very good, again, MDY kids, the Ramah says that he's not mechuyev to spend any money. Because normally he would do it himself. He'd try to avoid the $1,000 cost. He'd do it himself. He's not mechuyev to. And some say like him, some explain like Kimchi, that he has a mitzvah now. Fakert. He shouldn't spend money. It's his mitzvah. You don't spend money to get out of a mitzvah. You do the mitzvah. So someone says the same thing on Shabbos. You're not mechuyev to do things that you typically wouldn't do. You wouldn't knock on your neighbor's door at 3 o'clock in the morning. Hey, could I have a flashlight? You throw you down the stairs. You're waking me up at 3 o'clock in the morning. You want to avoid Chil Shabbos, that's why you're waking me up? You wouldn't do that. That's not a normal thing to do on a Wednesday night. So just because it's Shabbos doesn't mean you should do it. That's what you say, brings from here. Okay? Because it's Shabbos, I do want to say the story that made a big rush on me when I was a kid. It's brought down again. This I for sure said in Shir, but the Chazon Ish, it's brought down in the Sefer of the Rav of Beersheva. The story sort of happened with him. That the guy in Beersheva was a non-religious guy. He was working on his motorcycle on Shabbos, and he had the Argasha Kilu, his father's in the room, and his father was nifter, told him, what are you doing? Do tshuva. He kept on dreaming this over and over, this recurring dream. He kept on telling his wife, my father keeps coming and telling me to do tshuva. So his wife said, you're Meshuggah, you know. So finally he decided to go to the Rav of Beersheva, told him what happened. And the end of the story is that basically, after a bunch of times of dreaming, he saw his father. His father, like, what are you doing? Like, why are you making me come to you? So he said, this is getting out of hand. His wife said, he's seeing things, you know, the whole thing. So he went to the Rav of Beersheva. The Rav of Beersheva says, I don't know anything about this stuff, this superstitious stuff, dreams, but there's a person in Bnei Brak, his name is the Chazon Ish. Go to him. So he said, okay. He's a non-religious guy, goes to the Chazon Ish, waits in line with everybody, and he goes into the Chazon Ish, and the Chazon Ish looks at him, he says, you're the person that's being matriach your father to come to this world? The guy was shocked. How would a guy in Bnei Brak know this? And he had a rurei tshuva. He writes, this guy writes, he thought about doing tshuva on the spot. He says, this is not, so my dreams are not dreams. There's a lot of emes to it, and this guy. And then the Chazon Ish asked him, he says, I don't understand. And the Chazon Ish says, yeah, I could see. Your tshuva is in skabel, it says. He says, but tell me, how are you zoicha to well, there's a lot of non-religious people that don't have this kind of push. So he said, I gave tzedakah once. He said, no. He kept on telling him things until finally he tells the Chazon Ish that during the war, he was a young kid, he's like a 12-year-old, and his father told him to take these dead bodies and bury them. And it involved sakonas nefashos, if he would be caught, and he was very grossed out by the bodies and the whole thing, and he went and he buried them. The Chazon Ish says, that's the reason. That makes sense. So I'm just saying, the union of Meis Mitzvah is a very, very big mitzvah. And I usually don't say Meises like that, but this is Chazon Ish and the Rav from Beersheva wrote it. So, okay. Motzei Shabbos. He ended up doing tshuva. Okay. Says the Mishnah, Kohen Gadol v'Nazir ein mitam l'krivayim, mitam l'meis mitzvah. Hoy ma'achem ad-derech. They're walking on the way u'matzu meis mitzvah. Rebbe Eliezer Omer yitame Kohen Gadol v'yitame Nazir. Who's first? So now we have a whole sugya. Who should become tamei before the other? Lezer says a Kohen Gadol, believe, you hear this? Kohen Gadol, the whole Klal Yisrael is dependent on him. He has such kedusha. He's the only one in the world that goes in Kodesh HaKadoshim. He was usually the biggest Talmud Chacham of the generation. No, but if it's together that Nazir, the Kohen Gadol should pick up the dead person and bury him, and not the Nazir. So Chachamim argue, and this is how we paskin, that no, that a Nazir comes before even a simple Kohen, a regular Kohen. Forget about a Kohen Gadol. There's a halacha of when it comes to tzedakah, you should give tzedakah to a Kohen before a Levi, and a Levi before Yisrael. And some Achronim want to say that you should give tzedakah to a Nazir Yisrael before a Levi. Because a Nazir Yisrael has Kedusha, where Levi doesn't, the Torah doesn't call him a Kaddish. Says the Mishnah. I'll prove to you that a Nazir, you have a Kohen Gadol and a Nazir, side by side. A Nazir is more chamer. Why? Because think about the ramification. The Nazir becomes tummy, what happens then? Shave, go back, start over. What is it called? Go back to go?
Shoots and ladders.
No, Monopoly is better.
Shoots and ladders. Shoots and ladders. Back to the bottom.
What? Return to go. You have to bring korbanos. It's very expensive. You have to bring 3 korbanos, shoots and ladders. Call it whatever you want. A Nazir is more chamer. Look, he has to do all this stuff. A Nazir, a typical Nazir is not a Kaddish Loilam. A Kohen is Kaddish Loilam. So what are you asking me? I hear you asking me the question. But there is a Nazir that is Kaddish Loilam. There's a number of very good answers to that. First of all, Taisa says, Stam Nazir Shleishim Yoim. So the inyan of Nazirus is a weaker thing. But much more than that. A Nazir is from today, when he accepts it upon himself, forever. But a Kohen was born like that. More than that. A Nazir could get out of it. What? No, but he's Kedusha's Kohen. We're talking about Kedusha's Kohen. We're not talking about the Kedusha of the Kohen Gadol. And a Nazir could get out of it. And also, a Kohen, La'olam, can mean he gives it to the next generation. One Kohen makes another Kohen. A Nazir doesn't make another Nazir. Okay. So the Kedusha is a bigger Kedusha. Says the Gemara Bishlam, Kohen Gadol ben Nazir. Over here, this is Lishna, the Nazir. It's a Mashuna Lashon. Over here, Bishlam, it's not a question, it means emes. This is Pashat, that Kohen Gadol ben Nazir. We had a machlokes in our Mishnah. I saw a Kohen Gadol Adiv, I saw a Nazir Adiv. Okay, in that case. But what about okay. So here you have the picture of a Kohen Gadol and a Nazir, and they happen upon a body. Yoshi did all this tonight. So according to Rabbi Eliezer, very nice. I didn't even chap this. Rabbi Eliezer says the Kohen Gadol goes to the body, and the Nazir. Why? Because the Nazir has to bring korbanos. So that's why you put a little carbon there. According to Chachamim, the Nazir steps forward. It's Isser Olam. Very nice. Okay, Shmak. I didn't see it. See, I'm enjoying it with you guys. Meshuach u'meruba b'gadim. So what's amazing is, Rabbi, I know if Shapsi Cohen was here, he would love it. You could see in Taisis the Ramaskil, v'chem Meshuach. What's a Meshuach? Meshuach is that Moshe Rabbeinu, he brought 12 lug of oil. Check out Taisis. You're not going to believe this. It's mamish unbelievable. Taisis brings the pasuk from this week's parasha we just read a few hours ago. Shemen mishchas kodesh yeh zeh li l'dor seichem. I just want to point out, Taisis doesn't say it, but we learned it once. Zeh is 12. And it's one of the only 2 times, I think, in Shas that we learn from a gematria. Does anybody remember the other gematria? Who said that? Yoni. What did you say? Get over, Yoni. I need you to come. I know you don't like to. Come, Yoni, come, please. If you don't come to me, I'm going to get up and come to you. No, this is a big chizuk. It's a very big chizuk. I'll tell you why. I know you're ish tzanu abemes, but it's a big chizuk. I'll tell you why. Yoni just said Yeh. Yeh is gematria 30, and that's we learned in this Masechta that the Nazir for 30 days. Why is it a big chizuk? This guy is a chizuk for all of Klal Yisrael. He has a 9-to-5 job. He changes money in a change. Everybody knows there's a change. He's the only one there. Whenever you go in there, he's learning Torah. Usually MDY Shiurim. But he's always learning because he doesn't always have business. It's a guy that utilizes his time for the right thing, and I think all of Klal Yisrael should learn from you. And if you came up here and one person learns more Torah because of you, it was kedai to overcome your bush and do it. Yishkoyach Yoni. I've been there, I don't know, 100 times. You come in there, he's not faking. You hear the audio, the Gemara is open, and as soon as you walk in, pause, takes care of you like a mensch. As soon as you leave, goes right back to the Gemara. This is unbelievable. Okay, and why am I saying it? He's the only guy that's screaming out, yeah, he remembers it, he does chazara, maybe somebody else screaming out also, but that's the voice I heard, yeah and zeh. You can look at Taisus here. Basically, what happened is, Taisus brings the whole story. Moshe Rabbeinu brought 12 lugin of oil. Okay, it's a certain amount of oil. And with that oil, they anointed. In order for something to be kaddish, you have to pour, that's one way, the main way. You pour oil on a kohen gadol, he becomes kaddish. You pour oil on all the kelim in the Beis Hamikdash, become kaddish. On the mizbeach, there's only 12 lug. And for generations and generations, that 12 lug kept on going and going. It was an ace. Which king? Yosha. Yosha was going as it. He thought that something bad would happen. The goyim will take it, so he buried it. So from the time of Yosha,
He used it on kings.
Yeah, very good. He's saying Reb Kimchi, Harav Agoy Reb Kimchi is saying that he used it on kings also, 100%. He's on kings and koyanim and koyan gdolim. It just kept on going and going and going. But at a certain point, by King Yeshio, no more oil. So how does a kohen gadol become a kohen gadol? If there's no more oil, then they used the Sheine begadim, the merub begadim. He'd wear all the clothing, and that gave him kedusha. So now, ask the Gemara. Now that we know this, Moshuach b'shemen hamishcha. Daf Amud Beis umeruba begadim. So I guess we could go here now that we know this. You have the kohen on the right, who I would have put him more with the big dikun, okay. But he had the oil poured on him. And you have a kohen that he became a kohen gadol only with wearing the begadim, and they bump into a dead person. Which one of the two should take care of the dead person? We just turned to Amud Beis, Hatzlacha, Leib, and Aliza Simcha, Sheine Mashe, and Aliza Simcha, Sheine Mashe, Bad Bracha, Latzlacha. For the Magid Shir, members of the HBA Group and their families, Amen. I hope not to forget tomorrow. By the way, there's over 303 people who are already doing Aryeh Psachim, and I'll talk about it tomorrow morning, Be'ez Hashem. If I don't remember, you'll remind me. But it's not too late to join Aryeh Psachim because it's very, very short. 1.75 speed, 20 minutes. And we're just learning things about the Seder. It's unbelievable. Thing after thing, 64 mitzvahs that you can be Mekayim and Lela Seder. Check it out. It's kedai to do because you'll come to the Seder as a different person. So, how do you have a meruba begadim and a meshuach b'shemen hamishcha together? So we're going to have it twice now. The Rosh explains, and Tais talks about it. You have a kohen gadol who had the oil poured, and then they lived through the period of Yoshio, and there's no more oil. It's gone. Then the kohen gadol got sick, so they have to bring another kohen gadol to replace him. But there's no more oil, so they use the Sheine begadim. But the problem is that the original kohen gadol always takes over. He kicks the other guy out. So for that, the Rishonim say they have a chap that the guy on the left, he got to keep his job. Why did he get to keep his job? Because the guy on the right was sick for a very long time, or he went away somewhere far. So Mela, after a long time, you get to keep your job. Usually, when you're the replacement kohen, and the other kohen, let's say the kohen gadol gets a carry. So you bring this guy on kohen gadol. Once he's tar, you're gone. Yeah, the guy has the flu. So he's sick for a week. The guy takes over, but once the week is over, that's it. Not in this case. It's a big chiddush. Okay. So says the Gemara, Meshuach b'shemen hamishcha adif, the one on the right has precedence, so you should not touch the dead person. It's the one on the left. Why? Maybe par haba akal mitzvahs. This week was parshas para. Okay, fine. Para haba akal mitzvahs. That is, if a person is chayta, he sins b'shoygig, what does he bring? A chatas. But a kohen gadol who sins b'shoygig, and it's based on his own halacha that he decided, so he brings a bull, he brings a par. That's a big nafkamina between him. Those two guys in the picture, there's only one nafkamina. This. The guy on the right brings a par, the guy on the left never brings a par. So maybe the Gemara wants to say he's more chamor, maybe, fine. Next. Meshuach sha'avar umeruba b'gadim. Oh, so over here, the meruba b'gadim, because of the par, okay, givaldik. I did all this. Meshuach sha'avar, so I don't know if you can tell here, but he's wearing a knapsack. In other words, he's wearing shoes, he's fine. He's done. He's retired. So, again, you have to come on to a very interesting story. You don't have to remember it, but just know that there's an interesting story here. We're talking about three kohanim here. First, there's this gan. The guy on the right, that he's wearing a knapsack, says the Rosh, is the second kohen already. Because there's a kohen gadol, and he was sick, let's say, so they brought the guy on the right, the guy in the white. And they still had oil, so they poured oil on him. But then the oil, when it was decommissioned, they hid the oil. So, and the first kohen gadol who's not in this picture dies. So where does the third kohen gadol come in? Because there's a halacha that the kohen gadol has to be top notch, Talmid Chacham. And this gan, they find out he's not the greatest Talmid Chacham. So they bring another guy in. They bring the guy on the left, but there's no oil left. There's only the Sheine Begadim, so they tell him to wear Sheine Begadim. So now you have a situation where you have a Meshuach who's not working anymore. Why is he not working anymore? Because if he was alive, if the original Kohen Gadol was alive and he was a good guy, he would be working. So how do you have a situation that the guy on the right is a full-fledged Kohen Gadol, but he's a retired Kohen Gadol? It almost never happens. A Kohen Gadol works until the day he dies. The answer is because he wasn't a good guy. And they found a much better one. So that's why we had to kill off the first Kohen Gadol. And then you have a second Kohen Gadol who's not such a good guy. And the third guy, so now you have a situation, you have two Kohanim Gedolim, one is anointed, one is not. Meshuach Shavim Meruba B'gadim. Meruba B'gadim Adif. Check it out. Oh, the guy with the knapsack. Oh, because we need, the Gemara is going to explain, the Meruba B'gadim of the Avaida. You see, this is Mizbeach. We need the other guy, the other Kohen Gadol, to do Avaida. V'ilo Meshuach Shavar, Lavar Avaida. But the one with the knapsack, he's done, he's retired. Over Machmas Kiruya, over Machmas Mumai. Next case. You have one that's a Balkari and one that has a Mum. Over Machmas Kiruya Vadif. The guy with the Mum, he should take care of the dead body. Why? Because the guy with the Keri, tonight, he goes to the mikveh today, he's only coming for one day. He could continue doing the Avodah based on Mikdash. But a guy that has a Mum, he can't do the Avodah now. Let's see what he did here. Oh, one has swords. He's a Meshuach Melchama. Meshuach Melchama is a Kayan. Listen to this, Rabbi Yisai. He's a special Kayan. He's like a Magid. Okay, let's call him a Magid. He's a guy that's really good with Musar. He's not a Kayan Gadol. He's not a Sgan of a Kayan. He's a guy that gets up and he knows how to motivate the troops. Gets up and he screams. He said, "We got to go to war. We're going to kill the enemy. We're much better than them. We're much stronger than them. We have the Rebbeinu Shalom Shema Yisrael Shem Lekin Hashem Echad Psukim, all this stuff." So who's more important? The guy that could do the Avodah in the Beis Hamikdash, the Zgan on the left, or the guy that they need him for the army? He's top-notch guy in the army. Who's more important? Hey, Menayu Adav. Meshuach Melchama Adav, the Chazin Melchama. Klal Yisrael needs him for war, or perhaps, what if the Kohen Gadol gets sick? We need a replacement now. Tashma, Sanya. There's no difference between these two. Ella. If they bump into a dead person, let's see what happens here. Oh, the Meshuach Muhammad should deal with it. Why? Because we need this gan as a backup for that Avodah. Ask the Gemara, wait a minute. It says the Meshuach Muhammad has precedence over. That's it? Okay, that's it. Let's go back. Very good job. I like it. For Motzei Shabbos, like that, Givaldik. I want it on. Okay, good. At the end of the day, it says that the guy that motivates the troops, he's more chashuv than this gan. So this gan should be metama. If you have two of them and you don't know who to give tzedakah to, or two of them are under a pile of rubble, they both die, who do you save? You should save the motivator guy. My timer, the Tolubei Rabbim, the Baal Musar takes precedence because you need him for war. You need him for the soldiers. But who should become Tommy right now? We should make sure that this gan is tar. The Sanya Rebbe Chanina ben Atigna Soimer. Loba Tigna was talking to a Soifer on Friday, and we were talking about Tumah and Tari. He said, they used to live with fear of Tumah. Like, yeah. It's like somebody was asking me here, it's like, how did everybody know the halachas then, the Rish and the Sheine? They lived it. It was part of their life. But he gave me good mishalim. He took out a sefer and he was saying, people, if somebody's wife sat on a chair, you can't even touch it. Yeah, it's tummy mishkav, medras. Okay, so you have to take the chair to the mikvah. But who's going to take it to the mikvah? If you touch the chair, you become tummy. See, what's going on? They were walking around in the street like this. Okay. Who? No, it's Tom and Medras. It's a different, it's a strong thing. Okay, go speak to him. Why does he have a replacement? You need him for replacement for the Beis Hamikdash. So be careful with Tumah with him. If two people could become Tamei, let the Meshuach become Tamei. War is war, whatever. He'll take care of it a different time. But we might need this replacement guy, so make sure he doesn't become Tamei. Says the Gemara. In our Mishnah, we had a machlokes. If you have a Nazir and a Kohen Gadol, who should take care of the Meis Mitzvah? When they're walking together on the path. But obviously, one by one, each one should take care of the dead person. How do we know that a Nazir and a Kohen Gadol should become Tamei to Meis Mitzvah? The Torah Rabbanan called Nafshis Meis Lo Yavoy. Oh. I wanted to show this thing for a second. It's very interesting. By Kohen Gadol it says Vakol Nafshis Meis Lo Yavoy La'aviv U'li'imay Lo Yitama. The Torah specifies two that he shouldn't become Tamei. Don't become Tamei to anybody, and even not to your father and mother. By Nazir, the Torah specifies 4. Okay. Now, this is the list of the Shiva Kroivim. The last one is depending, married, not married, but a father, mother, wife, son, daughter, brother, sister. If the pasuk is talking about that a Kohen Gadol shouldn't become Tamei, even to people who are not related to him, Kohen Gadol she'ein metamel l'kroivim and edin she'ein metamel l'rechoikim. So Tosfos says we don't need a kavachomer. Tosfos is beautiful. Every Kohen Gadol is a Kohen. Forget a kavachomer. A regular Kohen is not allowed to become Tamei to any dead person. He's only allowed to become tamei to the Shiva Krivim. A regular Kohen could become tamei to these guys. Okay? So obviously when the Torah is telling a Kohen Gadol don't become tamei, who's the Torah talking to? About. A Kohen Gadol is no less than a simple Kohen. If Rabbi Schoenberg cannot become tamei to all the people in this room, or to anybody in the world, only to his own Krivim, so certainly a Kohen Gadol can. The Kohen Gadol is no worse than a regular Kohen. So when the Torah says that he should not become tamei to kol hanefashos, what does it mean? Kol hanefashos means all his relatives. Oh, so if it means all his relatives, then why did the Torah say la'aviv v'li'imai? I already said all your relatives. So those two words are extra. What I learned from la'aviv, don't be metamel to the father. The word la'aviv comes to say that you could be metamel to meis mitzvah. So what do you do with li'imai? That we're going to have to see tomorrow morning. Rabbi Sai, have a wonderful week, a wonderful day. Shkoyach.